In an extraordinary ecclesiastical rebuke of the highest order, the Archbishop of Canterbury has taken the unprecedented step of outright banning the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from attending an upcoming service of Thanksgiving at St. Paul's Cathedral. The rare and defiant banishment represents a seismic escalation in the Church of England's rapidly deteriorating relations with the self-exiled royals. The formal proclamation, issued directly from the Archbishop's official residence at Lambeth Palace, cited Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's sustained campaign of calumny, reproach and irreverent falsehood against the Crown and English society as necessitating their categorical exclusion from the sacred cathedral grounds. The edict stingingly accused the unrepentant American-based couple of attempting to stage a blasphemous publicity stunt and wanton grift under false pretenses of rendering dutiful gratitude. By their perpetual mendacities and public hostilities towards Her Majesty and our most noble sovereign institutions, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have manifested contemptuous impurities most unbecoming the sanctity of this holy house, His Grace thundered via the written decree. Permitting their fraudulent presences within these hallowed cathedral walls during ceremonies of solemn thanksgiving would profane sanctuaries dedicated to the eternal mysteries and inviolable bonds of truth, precisely which tenets their personal conduct has so wantonly violated beyond pious atonement. The stern rebuke pulls no punches in searing its excoriation of the Duke and Duchess for having squandered the honored birthrights and generational privileges bestowed upon them by the Crown through lives of reckless calumny and narcissism indistinguishable from common grifters. There are even shocking allegations Prince Harry impiously perverted the sacred doctrines of matrimony into mockery through unnamed debauched transgressions, all while shamelessly seeking rehabilitation through transparent publicity stunts. They have brought ample ruin and derision upon the institution of monarchy through baseless hysteria, compounded by perpetual ingratitude for the selfless charities and generational privileges lain at their unworthy feet since birth, His Grace excoriated further. Yet now they seek the mantle of benediction whilst piously posturing for worldly admiration and care-cloaking their transparent idolatries of self. This egregious deception upon our celestial order shan't be brooked. According to royal sources, the unusually fiery proclamation stems from behind-the-scenes intrigue and alarm over Harry and Meghan's rumored promotional scheming to exploit the cathedral's symbolism for rehabilitation of their fraying public favor. Supposedly after being denied a formal role participating in the Jubilee Thanksgiving ceremonies honoring the Queen's 70 years on the throne, the couple finagled plans to ambush the event with surprise attendance, enraging the Archbishop and prompting his decisive banishment. Word reached church leadership that the Sussexes had been actively negotiating with television crews regarding filming arrivals at St. Paul's after audaciously pleading for admittance under blatantly false pretenses of rendering gratitude, one senior church official speaking on condition of anonymity revealed. Staff then uncovered Harry's bald-faced conniving to essentially mosh pit-style weaponize his attending the venerable service by baiting physical confrontations and chaos with the media mobs he himself conspired to descend upon the cathedral. The source alleges the disgraced Duke's scheme entailed allowing cameras to surround then accost him and his wife outside under the calculated premise of defending their honor, providing clickbait visuals and ginned-up indignation over mistreatment by the church to bolster their perpetual branding as royal martyrs. Meanwhile, its rumored Duchess Meghan aimed to exploit the prime television exposure and cathedral iconography by delivering a choreographed speech casting herself in the Christic mold of a grieved humanitarian persecuted by the establishment. Harry and Meghan's manipulative goal appears to have been hijacking the optics of a charitable Christian rite to cynically stage-manage revival narratives canonizing themselves as oppressed contemporary souls while defaming the Church's integrity, then spinning the entire subterfuge as justification for monetizing their escalating aura of aggrieved heroism, the Church official summarized with disgust. Frankly, once that devious scheme was unearthed, the Archbishop considered it not only his obligation but outright spiritual duty to deny the Duke and Duchess setting a single unrepentant foot upon St. Paul's consecrated grounds. For his part, the Archbishop unleashed an extraordinarily rare fire and brimstone display of righteous indignation rarely witnessed from Anglican leadership outside the 16th century. His proclamation ominously warns the Duke and Duchess that persisting in their calumnious deceits and spiritual profanation, by daring to set foot on St. Paul's, risks immediate confrontations with heavenly consequences none dare suffer. The edict grimly concludes by consigning the couple to wander perpetually among the ranks of falsifiers, heretics, and pitiable souls until sincere revelations of repentance for your transgressions emerges, if ever such a fated redemption lay among God's mercies. Until then, it vows any attempt by Harry and Meghan to infiltrate the cathedral's inner sanctums shall be met not by mortal deterrence but hellish righteous might, smiting their toxic essences into an infinite abyss of molten suffering and torment. Such apocalyptically grandiose language and zealous spiritual condemnation reflects the profound depths of outrage over the perceived Sussex transgressions against the Church of England itself, not merely the monarchy or institutional orders. Multiple high-ranking church officials and deacons reached for further clarification, expressed unanimous unwavering solidarity with the Archbishop's blistering position. Dukes and duchesses are lofty noble stations, yes, but matters of sacrosanct divinity and the immortal soul ultimately supersede earthly titles or genealogies, offered the Right Reverend Lord Roger Malthouse, rector of London's St. Bride's Church and hereditary household chaplain to the Crown. No rank or privilege entitles one to willfully profane and exploit the most consecrated spaces through vulgar profiteering sideshows for self-worship. That His Grace opted to unleash such forcefully unrestrained ecclesiastical thunder signals the depth of offense allegedly inflicted, and serves monumental notice of the dread consequences awaiting any who would tempt breaching those spiritual sanctions. So in the end, it seems a swirling vortex of distrust, recriminations and steadily calcifying mutual loathing has escalated to the point of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex being dealt the most humiliating rebuke imaginable from the Church of England. Even in their bitter self-exile, they remain continuously aligned in the crosshairs of alleged institutional transgressions, serving as perpetual effigies for the perceived eroded character and mercenary opportunism plaguing modern societies. Whether the banishing proclamation actually manages dissuading Prince Harry and wife Meghan from attempting disruptions of the St. Paul's Cathedral service remains speculative. But the scorching rhetoric and anathemic overtones leave zero ambiguity about Church intentions in preserving the consecrated cathedral's sanctity from any sacrilegious stunt, chicanery or exploitation for egos. As Bishop Malthouse gravely assessed when questioning if the edict's immortal soul implications represented slight hyperbole by Church standards. With all due respect, sir, you may not fully grasp the full extent of righteous fury and holy galvanization fulminating within ecclesiastical ranks right now over these Sussex improprieties. Because from the insider vantage, it seems an understatement to say that should the Duke or Duchess dare attempt contemptuous trespass upon St. Paul's sacred grounds after such apostolic warnings, the only guaranteed outcome awaiting them inside would be an eternity of unquenchable hell flames consuming their wicked spirits for perpetuity. St. Paul's Cathedral is one of the most famous and significant churches in London, and hosts many important religious ceremonies and events throughout the year. Here are some of the major events and ceremonies typically held at St. Paul's. Daily church services. St. Paul's holds regular daily prayer services, including morning and evening prayers. Sunday worship services. The cathedral hosts several Sunday services each week, including Holy Communion, sung liturgies, and choral services. State occasions. As the Cathedral of the Diocese of London, St. Paul's plays a central role in major state and national ceremonies. It has hosted many royal weddings, funerals for sovereigns and prime ministers, services celebrating coronations and jubilees, and memorials for major events. Annual Remembrance Services. The cathedral is the location for London's annual Remembrance Day service on the Sunday closest to November 11th, honoring Britain's war dead. Religious festivals. Important Christian festivals like Christmas and Easter are celebrated at St. Paul's with special services attended by thousands. Cathedral concerts. St. Paul's hosts many concerts and classical music performances throughout the year, taking advantage of its magnificent acoustics. National celebrations. Services and ceremonies are held at the cathedral to mark major national anniversaries, achievements, and celebrations like the 2012 London Olympics. Installations and confirmations. Services confirming or installing new bishops and senior Anglican clergy are often held at St. Paul's. Education events. The cathedral hosts regular educational tours, lectures, exhibits, and activities teaching visitors about its history and architecture. So in summary, St. Paul's hosts everything from daily worship to major royal/state events, national memorials and celebrations, religious festivals, concerts, and diocesan ceremonial installations, reflecting its centrality in England's religious, civic, and cultural life.